Watch this video to see unexpected encounters with giant and dangerous snakes, including a huge anaconda in the river, a dangerous cobra on the road, python visitors, and a construction gone wrong. Music. It seems that this video was filmed in Africa. In the footage, we can see a local man carrying a bucket of water, while another man plays a drum nearby. Perhaps the drummer was trying to entertain the people around him, or he was practicing his skills. However, his drumming unintentionally attracted a snake, which suddenly emerged from the nearby bushes and startled the man carrying the bucket. In his panic, he threw the snake at the drummer. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, and the incident even had a comical aspect to it. Construction. At about the same time as the events of the previous video, an even more incredible snake was found in Altamira, Brazil. Workers were building a hydroelectric plant and decided to blow up the wall of one of the caves. As they blew up the wall, suddenly a giant anaconda appeared out of nowhere. Nobody could believe that it was real. The creature was about 33 feet long and weighed 882 pounds. This, by the way, is twice the size of the official record holder among anacondas. The snake was so big that the workers couldn't lift it by themselves and had to use a bucket. It's not known exactly what became of the giant afterwards, but official measurements were never taken. Hopefully, the snake was simply released in the river. Picture yourself on a peaceful boating trip with your friends, enjoying the river's scenery and even catching some fish. Suddenly, you spot something more interesting than a fish, a massive snake, so long that it's almost unbelievable. This is precisely what happened to some tourists on the Amazon River. They stumbled upon a giant anaconda, which had recently fed, making it look even more impressive. While I'm not certain of its length, it was definitely between 15 to 20 feet long. Despite the fact that anacondas seldom attack people and this one had just eaten, I wouldn't recommend meddling with a snake of that size. However, the tourists had different plans. Rather than leaving the snake alone, they attempted to pull it on board or drag it to the shore. Luckily, they were unsuccessful and the snake swam away. On the road. As the author of this video said, he was driving along the road when suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a giant cobra appeared. It was so big that it provoked an entire traffic jam. Drivers had to stop, and no one wanted to crush the snake, but at the same time, everyone was afraid that the reptile would attack. There were brave drivers who tried to get the cobra off the road by grabbing its tail. Then several men used sticks to try to move the snake. That didn't work, so they ended up picking it up and getting it out of the way. Party. Everyone loves a great party, don't they? Except for snakes, that is. However, it seems that one sneaky serpent managed to slip past security and make its way onto the premises. Fortunately, an animal trainer happened to be nearby and was able to quickly and safely remove the snake before anyone had a chance to become alarmed. Door. These snakes always get in where they don't belong. They can even get into the apartment. You don't believe me? See for yourself. The footage shows an ordinary door. A few seconds pass, it opens, and we see a giant python smacking on the floor epically. Okay, it was a pet python. So at least you can expect it to show up. But what about this footage of the girl dancing and filming herself? Everything's going great, and all of a sudden, the python literally breaks in. So how does the girl leave the room now? Porch. If you're considering living in a house, you might want to watch the following video. The video shows two instances of women encountering snakes outside their homes. In the first clip, a woman walks out onto her porch and is startled by a snake that suddenly jumps out of the flower bed. She runs back into the house in terror. The second clip shows a woman coming out of her house and finding a snake by the steps. Although she could have tried jumping over the reptile, she decides to play it safe and runs back into the house. Car. Everything seems to be all right here. There are no snakes around. The girl is still frightened when she approaches the trunk of the car. Soon she starts running away. We can see why now. The snake has been hiding and waiting for its prey the whole time. So do you still want to move into a house? Plane. It's not uncommon to find snakes in unexpected places such as a car, a flower bed, or a porch. However, can you imagine the fear that the passengers experienced when they saw a rather large reptile on their flight? They must have been terrified. How did it get on the plane in the first place? Did it sneak in from the luggage compartment, or did someone decide to carry it as their carry-on luggage? Regardless of how it got there, the passengers will remember that flight for the rest of their lives. Oven. Perhaps after watching the previous clip, someone might not want to fly on airplanes at all, but you should know that snakes can be much closer than you think. This man noticed that his oven was working strangely, malfunctioning, and not providing the right temperature. He decided to find out what was wrong. He unscrewed the panel, and of course, he saw a snake. It's unclear how exactly it got in here, and more importantly, why it got in here. Couldn't it have found a better hiding place? Bicycle. Two guys had an extremely scary experience while riding their bicycles. Out of nowhere, a snake jumped out of the bushes and attacked them. The reptile got caught in the wheel, but it continued to attack the guys while stuck. To avoid getting harmed, the guys had to let go of their bikes. Interestingly, this incident reminded me of a similar moment that happened in India. A group of bikers were riding through a forest area when suddenly, a tiger appeared in front of them. The predator charged towards them at full speed, but fortunately, it missed them by just a few inches. Given these two incidents, I suggest we stop talking about snakes for now and focus on other unexpected animal attacks and sightings. Stay tuned, as it will be quite interesting. Shark. Let's start right away with the extreme case. In this footage, we see a diver shooting underwater views and suddenly bumping into a large shark. The predator doesn't notice him and swims just a few feet away. The diver continues to shoot it. He can heave a sigh of relief. The threat's over, but suddenly he turns and sees another shark, which appeared out of nowhere. It's much more determined. It opens its toothy mouth and tries to attack the diver. Only by some miracle does he manage to dodge. Fortunately, the shark only threatened the diver and didn't continue the attack. Giant hippo. As we approach the river, we see tourists enjoying the beautiful scenery while boating and taking pictures. Suddenly, something large begins to follow them closely. It could be a submarine, a huge crocodile, or an unknown mythical creature. However, it soon becomes clear that it is a very large and angry hippo surfacing behind the boat. Interestingly, the hippo surfaces in front of the wave, making it difficult to predict its exact location. It's amazing how fast these animals can swim, reaching speeds of up to 9 miles per hour in water. Fortunately, the boat was faster and managed to avoid any harm. On another note, do you know which modern animal is the closest relative to the hippo? Some might guess a pig or hog, but scientists believe that it's actually the whale. It sounds crazy, but these animals had a common ancestor about 50 million years ago. As I was explaining this, people were boating in the whale's water, and the giants appeared in the distance every now and then. People were not worried, but suddenly a huge whale jumped out of the water in front of their boat, splashing everyone. At least it didn't fall on the boat. Crocodile. Let's take a trip to Australia. The protagonist in the next video is about to bungee jump into the river. The thrill seeker prepares to jumps, and successfully enters the water. What animal might suddenly appear? Kangaroo? Snake? Or platypus? It's more epic than that. A dangerous crocodile was waiting in the water. It attacked the man, who only by some miracle managed to dodge the deadly jaws of the reptile. Feeling an incredible adrenaline rush, the athlete swam immediately to the shore and saved himself. Lion. Stay alert and avoid blinking because danger might be lurking. You may ponder over what that danger could be, and suddenly, out of the bushes, a massive lion pounces on the cameraman. The attack happened in a flash. Fortunately, the cameraman was protected by a metal mesh. Without it, the ferocious feline would have easily overpowered the person. Giant squid. Next, we have a very unusual animal, a giant squid. Surfers didn't expect to see it here. First of all, these creatures live in great depths. Secondly, they very rarely swim ashore. All in all, it's a jackpot here. Despite their huge size, giant squids are not very dangerous to people. They rarely attack them, but this cephalopod was more persistent and assertive. It gripped the board with its tentacles, and the surfer had to jump into the water. Fortunately, the squid didn't drag him to the bottom like the kraken. The giant played with the board some more and soon swam away. Elephant. The author of this video must have been extremely surprised when an elephant unexpectedly showed up at his house. The reason behind the elephant's visit and where it came from remain unknown, but the cameraman wisely chose not to approach the animal. Instead, he quickly stepped back and left the room. The elephant now belongs to its new owner. That's all, guys. Which moment impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.